Hello everyone, and welcome to the Genre Bender channel. We continue our journey into 1963, a year standing on a precarious border. On one side, it is the golden age of American studio polish, surf rock, and Motown. On the other, it is the last calm moment before the tectonic shift coming from the British Isles. Today, we dive into the second half of our Top 20, a list of the most influential, scandalous, and contrasting tracks that dominated the charts. We will see how primitive garage rock investigated by the FBI, the operatic drama of Roy Orbison, the naive pop of the last duets, and the elegance of old easy listening masters like Nat King Cole coexisted. This is the story of how the old world of music tried to hold on while the new world was already knocking on the door. We await a mix of Californian waves, Liverpool signals, and New York drama. Get ready, this is the Genre Bender at 1963, the last bastion of American rock.
Are you ready for our top 20? Get comfortable. Let's go. Number 20 is our top. Spector's Teenage Opera. Spector's teen opera how 16-year-old Lesley Gore and producer Quincy Jones created the canon of teen pop drama. The track became the purest example of the wall of sound in a light version, cementing the theme of suffering as the main plot for young stars. Lesley Gore, It's My Party.
Lesley Gore, It's My Party is a monumental track of teen drama and a flawless studio product. Created by Quincy Jones, this single became one of the most famous examples of the wall of sound in pop music, but adapted for a 16-year-old audience. The song, which tells the tragedy of a birthday party where her boyfriend leaves with another girl, used powerful orchestration and layered vocals to amplify the emotional tension and sense of catastrophe. This hit showed that 1963 pop music could be just as dramatic and overproduced as easy listening, yet focused exclusively on youth problems. The hit cemented Lesley Gore's status as one of the main pop icons of the era.
Next up is number 19, our top. The apogee of surf drums. The apex of surf drums, the most technically complex and energetic instrumental in the history of surf rock. We will explore the legendary, chaotic drum solo of Ron Wilson and how this track, starting with a terrifying laugh, became a symbol of virtuosity and aggression in the genre. The Surfaris Wipeout.
The Surfaris Wipeout is one of the most recognizable rock instrumentals. The song is instantly recognizable thanks to its introduction and ominous laugh and the shout "Wipe Out," followed by one of the most powerful and wild drum solos in history. This solo by Ron Wilson was an absolute challenge to all rock musicians of the time, demonstrating incredible technicality and unrestrained energy. Wipeout differed from the more melodic and soft Beach Boys surf rock. It was aggressive, rhythmically dominant, and focused on pure, unfiltered adrenaline. The track became a cult anthem for skaters and surfers and secured its place in the rock pantheon as a model of virtuoso instrumental performance.
Next up is number 18, our top, Bastion of the Estrada.
2 by 2 lovers pass and dance.
The easy listening Bastion Bobby Vinton, the main rival of rock and roll for the adult audience, returns with another ballad. We will explore how his unchanging Formula Velvet vocals, lush orchestration, and a theme of melancholy kept him in the top 10. Bobby Vinton, Blue on Blue Blue.
As blue as I can be. Blue on blue, heartache on heartache, and I
Bobby Vinton Blue on Blue Blue on Blue is another commercial success for Bobby Vinton, confirming that traditional easy listening had powerful support in 1963. Vinton remained true to his formula, romantic but dramatic lyrics and a rich, adult arrangement that was far from the raw sound of surf rock or garage bands. Unlike teen rock, Blue on Blue offered mature, controlled emotionality.
Heartache, heartache, blue on.
It symbolized the last bastion of conservative American pop music, which, although competing with rock and roll, was inevitably preparing to give way to more dynamic and youth-oriented genres, but for now, it remained a force.
Two by two lovers pass, and then
Next up is number 17, our top, Whisper and Grammy. A Whisper and a Grammy, one of the most unusual hits of the year-end adaptation of a jazz standard with a unique whispering technique. We will examine how this track won a Grammy and became an example of how studio tricks can bring commercial success. Nino Tempo and April Stevens, Deep Purple.
Nino Tempo and April Stevens' Deep Purple is a surprising crossover that brought the sibling duo Tempo a Grammy. They took an old jazz standard from the 1930s and reinterpreted it for the 60s. The defining feature, the seductive, intimate whisper of April Stevens, contrasting with Nino Tempo's clean vocals and a rich but uncluttered arrangement. In an era when Phil Spector was building walls of sound, this track achieved success with the opposite approach, a minimalistic, intimate atmosphere. This showed that the American market was ready for very diverse studio experiments, including radical vocal techniques, making 1963 a year of great musical contrasts.
Next up is number 16, our top, 3 chords and a federal investigation. 3 chords and a federal investigation, raw and unintelligible. This song became the symbol of garage rock. We will examine how the FBI tried to determine if the lyrics were obscene, turning the Kingsmen into icons of rebellious, primitive rock and roll, and giving the world an anthem for all time. The Kingsmen, Louie, Louie.
The Kingsmen Louie 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 is more than just a song. It's a garage rock manifesto. The Kingsmen took an old R&B song and recorded it in an incredibly raw manner. The most famous detail is the notorious, absolutely unintelligible vocals of Jack Eli. Rumors about allegedly obscene lyrics reached such a level that the FBI conducted an official investigation, trying to decipher what the song was about. The scandal only boosted the track's cult status. In reality, the lyrics were quite innocent, but its primitive structure, 3 chords, chaotic energy, and raw sound made it the prototype of proto-punk and a template for thousands of garage bands across America who wanted to oppose the polished pop music.
Next, number 15 is our top, The French Invader and the Young Boys. French Invader and a Young Boys, the emergence of one of the youngest #1 hits in the US. We will examine how 15-year-old Peggy March and the French hit Chariot performed by her showed that a European melody and a Young Boys can easily conquer the American charts. Little Peggy March, I Will Follow Him.
Follow him wherever he may go. I love him, and where he goes, I'll follow.
Little Peggy March, I Will Follow Him is a landmark track that firmly established Little Peggy March as the youngest artist to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. She was only 15 years old at the time of recording. This was the English version of the popular French hit Chariot. The song is an infectious, powerful pop rock anthem with a strong chorus and dramatic build-up.
I will follow him, follow him.
The success of this track proved that listeners were ready to accept pop production, regardless of its origin, in this case, European, if it was performed with young, fresh energy. This single is one of the best examples of how European melodies were successfully reworked into the American pop format.
Him wherever he may go. There is
Next up is number 14, our top, Farewell to the Duets. A Farewell to Duets, one of the last innocent 50s hits to top the charts right before the Beatles arrived. We will examine its naive yet touching arrangement and why this simple track became a symbol of the fading era of American pop rock dominance.
That's why I'm leaving it up to you.
Dale and Grace, I'm leaving it up to you.
Now do you want my love? You decide what you gonna do.
Dale and Grace, I'm leaving it up to you, I'm leaving it up to you is a landmark track that went down in history as the last American single to reach the top of the Billboard chart before the Beatles conquered it with I Want to Hold Your Hand. The duo of Dale Houston and Grace Brooks used a simple, almost archaic formula, sentimental dialogue, and subtle, old-fashioned accompaniment. The song, with its overt naivety and doo-wop roots, was a direct descendant of sweet rock of the 50s. Its brief triumph at the end of 1963 became the last moment when this pure, artless version of American pop rock could dominate the market before being swept away by the wave of the British invasion.
Next up is number 13, our top, The King in Cinema. The King in the movies, we will examine how Elvis, while in film studio isolation, released one of his last commercially successful singles. This track is an example of pure pop rock that no longer had the rebellious energy the era demanded.
Talk like an angel, but I got wild.
Elvis Presley, Devil in Disguise.
An angel, walk like an angel.
Elvis Presley, Devil in Disguise. Devil in Disguise is one of Elvis Presley's last top 10 hits before his career completely drowned in Hollywood soundtracks. The track is pure, polished pop rock, far from his rebellious rockabilly roots. Perfectly arranged and flawlessly performed, it nevertheless did not offer the novelty or energy that the Kingsmen or Motown were providing.
You look like an angel.
This single is a symbol of the transition period. The king of rock and roll himself yielded his place to new, more dynamic, and raw performers preferring studio isolation and predictability.
Talk like an angel, but I got wild.
Next up is number 12, our top, Eternal Standard. The Eternal Standard, Johnny Mathis, like Bobby Vinton, personified adult pop music. We will explore how this ballad, with its jazz influence and classic vocals, kept the conservative audience in the charts amidst the rock and roll storm. Johnny Mathis, What Will Mary Say?
My heart is showing.
Johnny Mathis, What Will Mary Say? What Will Mary Say is a vocal classic in the adult contemporary genre. Johnny Mathis, a master of his craft, used clean, emotional vocals and rich orchestration. Unlike the drama of Lesley Gore, this was a restrained but profound ballad about personal drama.
And find me.
The success of this track demonstrates the enduring bipolarity of the American music market. Youth listened to rock and soul, while a more mature audience preferred time-tested, elegant standards. Mathis, along with Williams and Vinton, served as a bastion of musical conservatism.
my arms are willing.
Next up is number 11, our top, early British signal.
How do you do what you do to me? I am feeling.
An early British signal, one of the very first hits from Liverpool to break into the US charts. We will examine how Gerry and the Pacemakers, working with the same producer George Martin as the Beatles, gave the first signal of the coming invasion, making America wary.
If I only knew that perhaps you.
Gerry and the Pacemakers, how do you do it?
I wish I knew. If I knew how you do it to you. Wish I knew how you do it to me, but I haven't.
30 Gerry and the Pacemakers, How Do You Do It? How Do You Do It is a key track that foreshadowed the British invasion. The song, originally written for the Beatles but rejected by them, became an international hit for another Liverpool group, Gerry and the Pacemakers. Working with producer George Martin, they created clean, melodic, optimistic pop rock that demonstrated the high studio culture of British groups.
To me, I do it to you.
Unlike raw American garage, their sound was flawlessly commercial. The success of this single in 1963 was the first warning call for American artists. The competition is coming from across the ocean, and it sounds incredibly fresh and professional.
You give me a feeling in my heart, like an arrow.
The entire second half of our list is complete. We've reached the midpoint. We've seen pure teen pop, the latest duets, elegant pop, and the most aggressive forms of garage rock. 1963 is a perfect, yet fragile, balance, the midpoint.
Number 20 is our top. Lesley, Gore, It's My Party, a teen pop drama, a hit produced by Quincy Jones. Next up is number 19, our top. The Surfaris, Wipe Out, the pinnacle of instrumental surf rock. Next up is number 18, our top. Bobby Vinton, Blue on Blue, a bastion of conservative pop. Next up is number 17, our top. Nino, Tempo, and April Stevens, Deep Purple, an unusual crossover with whispery vocals. Next up is number 16, our top. The Kingsmen, Louie, the garage anthem the FBI studied. Next up is number 16, our top. Little Peggy, March, I Will Follow Him, European teen hit number 1. Next, number 15 is our top. Dale and Grace, I'm Leaving It Up to You, the Last Us number 1 single before the Beatles. Next up is number 14, our top. Elvis Presley, Devil in Disguise, the King's last pure hit. Next up is number 13, our top. Johnny Mathis, What Will Mary Say, an elegant jazz ballad. Next up is number 11, our top. Gerry and the Pacemakers, How Do You Do It, the first signal of the British invasion. If you liked the video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the Genre Bender channel.
We just passed the equator.
Are you ready to continue? Let's go!
Next, number 10 is our top. The summit of surf fantasy. The peak of surf fantasy, Jen and Dean, working closely with Brian Wilson, created the absolute anthem of surf rock. We will examine how the complex vocal harmony of the Beach Boys combines with the carefree lyrics about the beach utopia of Surf City. Jen and Dean, Surf City.
Jan and Dean, Surf City. Surf City is the idealized musical utopia of surf rock. The song, written by Brian Wilson and Jan Berry, described a fictional town where there are only 2 girls for every guy and endless waves. Unlike instrumental surf, Surf City used multi-layered, clean vocal harmonies in the style of the Beach Boys, but with more straightforward, pop-oriented lyrics. This single became the first pop hit with the word surf in its title, cementing the genre in the national consciousness. It showed how lighthearted Californian pop rock became the dominant and sunniest force in the American charts, reflecting the dream of eternal summer.
Next, number 9 is our top. Doo-wop nostalgia.
Just remember, darling.
doo-wop nostalgia, the Duprees, and their return to classics. We will explore how this cover of an old hit became the last major success of nostalgic doo-wop, which resisted the onslaught of Motown and garage rock, maintaining elegance and romance. The Duprees, You Belong to Me.
The Duprees' You Belong to Me, You Belong to Me is a beautiful cover of a classic standard, performed in a nostalgic doo-wop style. The Duprees became famous for their clean, sentimental vocals and emphasis on traditional ballads. In 1963, when music was becoming increasingly aggressive and rhythmic, this track offered the listener a soft, romantic refuge and a reference to the simpler times of the 50s. Its success showed that there was a significant part of the audience who valued harmony and old, proven melodies more than new rock and roll riffs. This was one of the last major triumphs of old-school vocal groups.
Next, number 8 is our top, powerful R&B beat. The powerful R&B beat, an early girl group of the Motown era from the legendary writers Goffin and King. We will examine how this track, with its strong R&B beat, became a precursor to more powerful soul groups and a direct competitor to Motown. The Cookies, Don't Say Nothin' Bad About My Baby.
The Cookies' Don't Say Nothin' Bad About My Baby, Don't Say Nothin' Bad About My Baby is a strong R&B-oriented hit written by the legendary duo of Carole King and Gerry Goffin Brill Building. The Cookies were one of the first girl groups at the intersection of the Brill Building and the Motown-like sound. Unlike The Innocent, The Chiffons, here a more mature, powerful R&B rhythm and vocals are already felt, giving the song an energy close to early soul. This track is an important link in the evolution of female vocal soul, demonstrating how authors tried to give traditional pop themes a sharper, modern beat and greater emotional depth.
Next, number 7 is our top, Jazz Elegance.
To live my whole life through.
Jazz Elegance, Nat King Cole, as the living embodiment of timeless American elegance. We will explore how this track, with its deep jazz roots and orchestral brilliance, continue to appeal to the public against the backdrop of rock.
Darling, it would be when you smiled at me.
Nat King Cole, That Sunday, That Summer.
Nat King Cole, That Sunday, That Summer, That Sunday. That Summer is another example of how jazz standards and classic crooners maintained relevance in 1963. Nat King Cole, with his signature, soft vocals and impeccable orchestral arrangement, offered the listener timeless, elegant music that stood outside of genre wars.
If I had to choose one more.
This track was the complete opposite of garage rock, and its presence in the charts underscored that rock and roll was not yet the only dominant genre. It served as an important cultural bridge.
Just one day.
Next, number 6 is our top, From Rock to Pop.
There's a chance for me that I don't care.
From rock to pop, Rick Nelson, one of the first teen idols, moves away from rock and roll. We will examine how his cover of an old standard symbolized the stylistic confusion of many American stars in the face of the British invasion. Rick Nelson, Fools Rush In.
Men never go, but wise men never fall. Felt my life begin, so open up your...
Rick Nelson, Fools Rush In is a landmark track in the career of Rick Nelson, who, being one of the pioneers of early rockabilly, completely transitioned to soft, orchestral, easy listening in 1963. His cover of an old jazz ballad demonstrates how many American stars of that period, not knowing how to compete with the growing chaos of surf rock and Motown, sought refuge in time-tested standards. This single, although commercially successful, symbolized Nelson's departure from the rebellious roots of rock and his attempt to remain relevant in the adult contemporary niche. This was the last effort of classic rock stars to stay afloat by switching to safer material.
Though I see.
Next, number 5 is our top, Absurdist Garage. Absurdist Garage, the craziest hit of the year. The Trashmen, by mixing surf rock with wild vocals, created the prototype of garage punk. We will examine the chaotic energy, raw sound, and the iconic absurdist vocal solo, "Bird is the Word." The Trashmen, Surfin' Bird.
The Trashmen Surfin' Bird is a pure example of frat rock and garage trash, recorded by the Trashmen. The band took 2 old R&B tracks and stitched them together, adding an incredibly raw sound, primitive guitar riffs, and most importantly, wild guttural vocals. Bird is the Word. This track was the complete opposite of studio polish, demonstrating unrestrained, almost punk energy. The iconic, screeching middle of the song, where the vocalist mimics a bird, became a model of absurdist rock and roll. The song became an important precursor to punk rock, valuing spontaneity, unfiltered aggression, and a rejection of musical rules in favor of pure chaos.
Next, number 4 is our top, 1-2. The triumph of the 12-string guitar the folk revival continues. The Rooftop Singers and their adaptation of an old hit that showed that acoustic music with an unusual instrument, the 12-string guitar, can dominate the charts. The Rooftop Singers, Walk Right In.
The Rooftop Singers' Walk Right In is a key track in the 1963 folk revival. The Rooftop Singers, a trio from New York, achieved success thanks to their lively performance of an old blues melody and, most importantly, the use of 12-string guitars. This instrument, with its rich, resonant sound, became very popular and influenced artists like the Byrds, who later popularized folk rock. Unlike the political lyrics of Bob Dylan, this track was pure, upbeat folk. Its success cemented the position of acoustic, traditional music in the mainstream, offering yet another alternative to rock and roll and setting the stage for future folk rock.
Next, number 3 is our top, Rockabilly Drama.
Sometimes I think she's almost meaning me.
Rockabilly Drama, Roy Orbison, the master of operatic vocal drama. We will examine his double hit, aggressive rock and roll on one side and a deep, emotional ballad on the other, demonstrating his unique place between genres. Roy Orbison, Mean Woman Blues, Blue Bayou.
Mean as she can be.
Roy Orbison, Mean Woman Blues, Blue Bayou. Mean Woman Blues, Blue Bayou is one of the most powerful double hits that fully demonstrates the unique range of Roy Orbison. Side A features Mean Woman Blues, an aggressive, almost rockabilly anthem, and Side B features Blue Bayou, a deep, melancholic ballad with Orbison's signature falsetto. This dramatic contrast was his calling card. He combined raw rock energy with orchestral drama, setting him apart from other artists. Orbison was a bridge that connected the early rockabilly era with the future of art rock, having a colossal impact on future vocalists who sought emotional depth and theatricality.
Ain't bragging, it's understood. Everything I do, well, I sure do it. Well,
Next, number 2 is our top, European pop.
And after on a summer holiday, no more worries for me.
European pop Cliff Richard, a British idol who, unlike the Beatles, offered not rebellion but clean, family-friendly pop rock. We will examine how his success prepared the American market for the arrival of European stars.
We're all going on a summer
Cliff Richard, Summer Holiday.
me or you for a week or two. Now let's see if it's true.
Cliff Richard's Summer Holiday is one of Cliff Richard's key hits that showed that not all British music was about rebellion. The song, from the movie of the same name, was light, carefree, and melodic, full of positive energy. While the American charts were dominated by surf rock and Motown, Richard, with his clean, innocent image, gained immense popularity in Europe and began to penetrate the American market. His success was an important step in testing the waters for the British invasion, showing that British musical output could be commercially viable even in the softest genres.
I always wanted to, so we're going on a
The next number 1 is our top, anchoring Motown. Cementing Motown 13-year-old Stevie Wonder, already a star thanks to live R&B, transitions to studio soul. We will examine how Motown used this track to cement his status as the label's youngest and most versatile artist. Stevie Wonder, Contract on Love.
Stevie Wonder Contract on Love is a studio track that followed the explosive live success of Fingertips. In this song, Motown attempted to channel Stevie's wild R&B energy into a more structured, commercial soul format. The track, written by the Motown writing team, showed that 13-year-old Stevie was capable of being a star not only on stage but also in the studio. This single cemented his status as Motown's youngest artist and demonstrated the studio's skill in creating hits, even as they adapted raw R&B into polished soul pop, thereby establishing Motown as the main competitor to rock and roll and as a factory capable of nurturing young superstars.
So we've closed chapter 2 of 1963. It was a year when pop rock, surf rock, and R&B coexisted in a fragile peace. The final chord symbolizing the American market's opening to new rhythms hadn't yet come to an end in 1963. This was the era of the last American heroes. Don't forget to subscribe to Genre Bender so you don't miss our analysis of the revolutionary year 1963, Part 3. See you there!
If you liked the video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the Genre Bender channel.